Budget committee meeting now come to order. We have 2 sets of minutes. I had asked the chief before the meeting what was going on with the code. Yep, special district meeting. And he was right and suggested I didn't look, but he was here. So, chief.
So
Enlighten us.
the last thing that happened, the water district sent a proposed agreement to the fire commissioners. The fire commissioners reviewed it, didn't totally agree with it, and they sent over a counter proposal through the attorneys, of course, and that's where it stands. We haven't heard back on their answer from our counter.
But we're still under, well, the district is under court order to have that meeting, correct?
Right, and so
And we're getting closer and closer to the regular meeting.
yeah, and that might be the more appropriate place to have it, rather than incur a cost for an additional meeting. But the judge is aware of what's going on. Both attorneys asked for a continuation for setting the rules for trial. They both wanted to extend it, and the judge said, yeah, I don't care if you extend it. So that's where that's at. So we are clearing fire hydrants if needed. The fire department is, just so you know.
In good faith.
Yeah, well, whatever.
Partnership,
It's fire hydrants there. We want to be able to use it. It has to be cleared. So we are doing that. We're continuing to do that.
So the fire district is business as usual.
For us, it's business as usual. There is of course, you know, I think you should all know, there's an injunction on the water district from cutting off any services previously provided to the fire district. So that means they can't shut the water off at the fire stations, and they can't shut the water off in any of the fire hydrants. So we're just going along like nothing's happened. We're just not paying any bills.
Well, it'll be interesting.
We're paying the domestic bills.
Yeah, right.
The bills for domestic service, but we're not paying for the pressurized hydrant service at this time.
And that's the proposal that went
Yes.
back and forth.
Yes.
Because I presume the commissioners are going to have a warrant article for this, for the regular district meeting.
Not yet.
We haven't done that far yet.
They haven't negotiated anything beyond, they've been trying to
But
work.
they'll have a deadline.
Right. They do have a deadline.
I mean, regardless of the court actions, they have to have their warrant articles prepared, approved before, and I don't remember the date.
They're going to be discussing their warrant article at their next regular meeting on the
Okay.
4th of January.
Just curious. All right, well, regardless, we don't really have to worry about that. Shall we get the minutes done before we move into the budget? We have November 17th and December 15th. Does everybody have a chance to read them? I know they were sent out.
Yeah.
Anybody need some time to read them?
I didn't see them, I don't have them, but I don't need to read them either.
Joe, the ones I have?
Go ahead
Say what?
I read the December.
I have 2 small grammatical errors in November.
Yeah, was it November, so I'm abstaining.
I think it's November, yeah. Top of the second page. Scott commented that Juneteenth was added as a federal holiday.
That's correct.
That's correct?
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
Juneteenth? I don't remember this.
on. Yeah, that was when we met at town hall. too.
Yes.
Yeah, Juneteenth?
Yes.
That's what it's called.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's the name of it.
called.
So
What is it?
It's when the rest of the slaves in Texas actually got word that the Civil War was over and they were freed, and there was like a lag after the Civil War, so Juneteenth was another day.
You're kidding, right?
No.
No,
No,
We're not
wish he
kidding.
was, but
Yeah.
no.
Galveston, I don't know, it was a Texas.
But it's not a district.
Is that
holiday.
really a federal holiday?
It really
Yes.
is a federal
Yeah,
holiday.
it's kind of
Yes.
a civil rights thing.
Sorry. Down on the bottom of the second page, 1, 2, 3 paragraphs up. just needs to be 2 instead of the, Jane made a motion, the fund line. Jane made a motion to fund line 412.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as amend that one amendment as amended.
Second.
All those, any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Opposed? Abstention?
Just one. That wasn't here.
We have an abstention. December 15th. That's free. Everybody else set with December 15th?
Yep.
Motion to
I
approve
make a
as
motion to
written.
accept December 15th as presented.
Second?
Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions?
Abstention, wasn't here.
We have an abstention, okay, motion carries. All right. Okay. We have a fresh copy of the budget.
Riding mower.
So we should go back and figure it out one another.
Won't do up after a half an hour debate.
That is correct.
You just took a minute. And how to, an update budget on our sheet.
Five.
Page 5. So we went every which way with this. Discussion. What do you guys want to do with this?
That cover groundskeeping?
Yeah,
Yes.
let's talk it out before we vote. It's not a big sum. So let's,
I'll make a motion to accept $350 for groundskeeping.
Second.
discussion.
What was your number?
350.
350?
And all right, so I agree it's not a big spend, and hasn't been a big spend for 21, 20, 19. And we know there was materials donated, and so I think the last conversation was if we really, really needed to find a couple $100, that we can find a couple
We'll find
$100
it.
somewhere in there.
I agree.
Why pad it?
I agree. $500 you take out of it. Not heard of it. That's all right.
I'll argue the optics on it, that the person that may donate that may just see that within the budget, and therefore it's not assumed that it's going to be donated.
Why should he have to cough up his hard-earned money?
Oh, I'm just saying, it's just the optics, like if you see it all, they must assume that I'm going to donate it this year.
Well, I'm gonna give you the optics of 2021, because we bit the hook, we took the bait in 21, appropriated, raised and appropriated the 350, and still didn't spend it. So there's some optics.
So what is $350 percentage-wise of this budget in total? Nothing. If you can't spit $350 out of this budget.
Right.
I'm
Bring the sponge a little.
only giving $500.
Well, the peril is having it in there, we didn't spend it, and now it's $350 to go on to something else that we did not agree to,
What do they use it for? Just mulch and stuff like that?
Fertilizer. It's
Fertilizer?
a more
Mulch,
material.
white stone, fertilizer, like if you drive up, you see like a TNFD on the memorial where the flags are is in white stone, and black mulch there, and fertilizer, though we haven't bought any fertilizer. But that's, that's actually not true. We did fertilize, but we didn't buy any fertilizer. And it's mainly the island is where we fertilized, trying to get that grass to grow a little bit better.
So we can dig it up and put a building there.
Next year.
All right.
All right, any more discussion on this? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Aye. So is it
3,
4 to 3?
1, 2,
Yes,
3.
All right.
4
so
nays,
the
3 ayes.
motion carries. But that was only part of it, so what do we want to do with the riding lawnmower? 150, and that was for repairs, right, blades,
Blades,
gals, oil, blah, blah, blah.
all that stuff, yes.
I'll make a motion to spend 150 on the riding mower.
Second.
Discussion. Anybody?
I'm opposed because now we're gonna have, we already have $350 in a line that is not spent, an average of $350 in total in that in the category. We just approved a $350 amount, and that can be moved between those two things. So I don't think we need to spend additional on them.
Any more discussion? Anybody? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Is that 4 to 3 too?
Yes.
Motion carries. All right.
Oh, hold on a second.
What?
Both those motions were voted down. It was 4 nays on both of them and 3 ayes.
I thought there were 4 ayes and 3 noes.
Raise your
No.
hands.
I don't think so. Which way?
Who voted yes?
On groundskeeping, 350. 4, okay, sorry.
5, 2.
And 3 voted no.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. Always good to check. All right, so moving on. Where did we leave off?
Page
Page
9,
9,
yes. Career uniforms. Uniforms is the next
top
one.
of the page.
685, uniforms.
Like, did you already speak to this? About, I thought you said something about it.
I don't think we really talked about this yet. I'd be happy to.
Yeah, please.
So the amount that I requested, $10,800, is for the 18 career personnel that get $600 a year. Then we have 14 for the call firefighters at $200 each for $2,800. And then the support company uniforms, the red company, depending on how you want to call it, I put $450 in there, and as you can see, they haven't really spent much of that the past couple of years. But everything they do is free, and they donate all kinds of stuff to us, so if they want a sweatshirt, I'm gonna get them a sweatshirt, or whatever.
And I know a year or two ago, we talked about you were gonna just force the issue and get them something nice, but we haven't had an award ceremony to do that for them, so we'll get there.
Hopefully, in 2022, we'll have that award ceremony.
And the career uniforms, is that $600 paid for a full year uniform, or is that just paying for, they need new pants, or?
They get to pick, right?
Yeah, they get to pick what they need, pants, or shirts, or
Right, but it
sweatshirts, or
doesn't,
jacket,
$600
shoes.
doesn't buy a complete whole uniform, does it?
Well, a work uniform, yes. like pants and the shirt and stuff, yes, it'll buy, pants are like, depending upon which one you get, anywhere from $50 to $80 a pair. The shirts are like $50 each.
Oh, okay. I know in the police where it doesn't.
Also the duty boots.
The other boots. and
Okay.
all that stuff.
Anybody, any more discussion on this? Motion?
I'll make a motion to accept $1,450 the total uniform category,
Be 14,000.
14,000.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Okay, good. Miscellaneous.
$1 to keep the line open.
Why? What is miscellaneous? Just in case?
It's for things that cannot fit into our, anywhere else in the budget that we have to spend money on. And, I know we spent money on it, $415 on it this year, I don't even know what it was, but whatever we spent that $415 on, it doesn't fit on any one of these other lines. So it's just a place to put where we have no accounting of the expense of what it was spent on until you actually look it up.
I'll move to approve $1 to miscellaneous.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Maybe I just hate miscellaneous. No. Dry hydrants and cisterns.
That's for the repair and maintenance of the dry hydrants and cisterns.
Yes.
I'm sorry?
Repair and maintenance of dry hydrants and cisterns.
The dry hydrants, now, are those the ones that go into the river?
Yes.
Or belong to the fire district?
Yes.
So there's one at River Road in Lochmere,
Yes.
and that belongs to the fire district?
I'm not 100% sure about that one, but we use it. Although it's kind of cruddy.
Well, I just know that the state is paid by water carriers to fill up there.
Yeah. I know
So
trucks fill up from there.
why wouldn't they be paying the fire district if it's ours? You see what I'm
We
saying?
don't maintain it,
Oh, we don't?
not that one.
Okay.
We maintain all the others. And the amount of money here is to pay for a diver to inspect all the dry hydrants, if any repairs need to be made underwater. Also to pay for parts, pipes or.
Okay. And what is a cistern?
A cistern is a cement tank, usually. 30,000 gallons is the minimum size. And we have those placed sporadically throughout the fire district in the non-hydrogen areas. in
No
case-
kidding.
Excuse me?
How do they get filled?
We fill them. We go
Old
to
school, it was rain, but it can't keep up.
Well, I knew it. Well, that's what I thought of a cistern. Like in
Yeah.
Arizona, they have them, but
No, it has a roof
they get
on it.
rain.
has a roof on it, and when we use them or whatever, we fill them up.
Oh, interesting. I had no idea. Anybody motion,
Now, do you
discussion?
test them, like with the apparatus, or just the diver inspects them?
No, we flow them every year.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with the divers. Is that something that could be done like every other year, every 3 years? Why do they have to be inspected by a diver every year?
Weeds.
Yeah, weeds and silt mostly. A lot of them are in shallow ponds where Some of them are even near people's yards, so the fertilizer that's washed off into the pond promotes a lot of growth and silt. And we have to go in there and clear it out sometimes, pick them up, clean it all out, blow them out, put them back in the water, support them on blocks, high enough off the bottom of the pond so that they're not sucking up a lot of silt, but not too high where it's going to create a Venturi effect on the surface of the water. It's kind of a balancing thing. If the pond is not deep enough, we have to get permission to dredge it out if they want to maintain it, because the pond, bare minimum, has to be 6 feet, 2 feet off the ground and 4 feet from the surface. If we have anything less than that, it just problems, lots of problems. And then we start, even though it's a strainer, sometimes the strainers get broken or clogged. Sometimes the strainer falls off and we're not aware of it, and then we start sucking up fish and all kinds of other stuff, and screwing up the impellers on the pumps. Happens.
I'll move $2,500 to dry hydrants and cisterns.
I'll second that.
Any more discussion? I have just a curious question. Why in 2021 was it increased to more than twice? Did you have to replace some?
So we appropriated $5,000 last year?
$5,275.
Yes.
Yeah, so we had a quote for a particular project that didn't actually get completed.
For one of our call members.
One of our call members is now a certified diver, so that'll help out.
Okay. Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries.
That finishes the apparatus, no, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Operating, we still have a ways to go. And interest. On pressurized hydrants. And
Got a lot of ones.
they're all ones.
Where is that?
It's all under that
Nine.
page. Yeah,
Middle of
same
nine.
page. I didn't highlight those because
Page 9.
You're looking for the yellow.
there's no yellow on those, sorry.
What did you spend on tan interest last year?
Nothing.
I like that. So the category is capital outlay.
And then under that is capital outlay, yes.
Do you have a tan set up for the bank?
Okay.
We, as we need it, yes. We haven't needed it for several years.
You don't have to redo it every year.
No. We only do it when we need it. So. We've been fortunate.
What's going on with the land and building committee?
The building committee is meeting. The next meeting is
The 12th.
the 12th of January.
Did we raise and appropriate money last year? We did a project.
$100,000.
This time it's non-lapsing.
That's correct.
Right, and then we're into a revenue fund, right?
None of those funds have been expended.
It's two different things you're talking, Catherine. The land and building fund, they did raise money for last year. which is a capital reserve fund, and then the design,
Design,
engineering,
engineering.
architectural fees, they raised $100,000, and that is a non-lapsing fund.
Right, so it's a reserve fund.
Page 2.
Is that what it is? Thank you. I see it.
So the land and building fund's also non-lapsing, right?
Right,
Right.
they're two different types of accounts.
The building
Yes.
fund's been around a while.
Yes, it has.
You said page 9?
Page where it
Oh, there we go.
is, right in front of you.
You're still on page 9.
Now, what money went into the capital outbuilding? I see it's
Actually,
listed.
it's flip to page 10.
You're not gonna vote on the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ones that we need to vote on?
I'll make a motion that we
For capital outlay.
total, no, you have to do line 4723, TAN interest, and then 4901, land, 4902, capital out machinery, vehicle and equipment, 4903, capital outbuilding, and 4909, other, all with $1.
Second.
Discussion. Why are we keeping TN interest open?
In
Okay,
case
so
we
we
have
have
to
to
In case
have-
we have to borrow, that is the line where we pay,
That isn't
where the
that-
interest will show.
when you create the, okay, I'm just sorry, it's just me. Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Nay. And any abstentions? Motion carries. All right, page 10.
So did we do them all?
all in one.
All the ones?
Yes.
Yeah, we did all. It was a
I
blanket.
didn't know if we, I knew we did several, but I didn't know we covered
It
them
was a
all.
blanket.
There was four, there was the TANs.
So, going backwards, Eric, on your motion, what is other? That you made a motion for $1 other? Since we already have a miscellaneous line.
Is that other assets?
Yes, under capital outlay, yes.
Other, just assets,
Like what?
It was $100,000.
things that don't fit in these other categories.
Well, what was
Just like miscellaneous, it's things that don't fit.
Well, what was the 2,200 in 2020?
I don't know.
Or the 12 grand before that?
I'd have to open up the books and-
If you give me a minute, I'll be able to answer that question with something.
Well, I'm just curious, because we all pencil, well, we pencil what, $350 for mulch that we don't ever spend on, but there's $14,000 spent that we don't know. Then what, you know, we don't.
One of them was for a copier. That should have been under equipment.
Um,
I hate just in case when I'm.
Well, other- well,
Funding just in
Charlie
case.
would say miscellaneous is a bad thing, right?
Right. Or, I would say,
Those are dangerous.
what, ask my accountant is fine. But, 9 autos and 3 miscellaneous is not telling me enough.
Yeah.
This is slightly different, this is the other that doesn't fit, same idea, but
Yeah. All right, I'll let it go. I
same
mean,
thing, different word.
all right. I thought we already had a miscellaneous line, but not on this page. But yeah, we did. Half a page up, we had a miscellaneous. Doesn't matter.
That was an equipment replacement fund budget.
page you want, Catherine?
10,
I'm already at 11.
what happened to 10?
You're up to page 10.
10 was just,
This is-
that's warrant articles, grants and stuff like that, and the total.
Yeah. There's no warrant articles to decide on.
Number, page 11 is just income, so there's nothing really there. So you want to be on page 12.
But there are numbers on page 10 in the commissioner's, 2022 commissioner's budget.
Those are incomes that get transferred. Oh, well, there's a contingency fund, which is 1% of last year's appropriated budget.
Those are warrant articles.
So it says warrant articles, and then it says included in budget.
Right,
How are warrant articles included in our budget?
they were included after district meeting. This is just a summary.
Oh. Right.
Page you want now?
Well,
Y'all are on 12.
right?
Would it be helpful if I just explained each section, and then you guys could discuss it, and then make a motion or not?
Yeah. Now, this is all what's coming out of the apparatus and equipment fund.
That's correct.
Make that clear, right?
Yes.
Everybody would, okay with an explanation from the chief? With this? Thank you, chief.
So in the first section where it says ambulance billing services, we're requested $30,000 on that line item to pay Comstar, which is our billing service for the ambulance billing service. The $1,500 underneath that is for paramedic intercept fees, so which we shouldn't have to pay very often, but every once in a while, we get caught without a paramedic on our second ambulance or something like that, and we have to go to Concord, and we need a paramedic to help render care to the patient. Concord does charge us a paramedic intercept fee, but any fire department that's within Lakes Region Mutual Fire Aid, if we catch one of their paramedics, we have a bylaw currently in place that we can't charge each other for paramedic intercept fees.
How much does Concord charge?
It's $550? $550. So this doesn't really even cover 3 intercepts, but. So that's that section.
Anybody have any questions? Any discussion on that section?
I'll move for $31,500 for ambulance billing service.
Second that.
Any more discussion? I have a question. So, do we have a contract with Comstar for a specific amount? Because I'm looking at the actuals.
Yes, we do. They get 6% of whatever is collected.
Okay, so there isn't a set figure, it's, okay.
Percent.
They're on
So
commission.
it is variable.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And abstentions. Motion carries. Fire equipment, 740.
So
Probably
this is
already
equipment that I placed before the commissioners, and the commissioners voted to do 45, 4, 43. There is one change that I would like to make in there, and that is on the line for hose, that I need to add $2,000 to that because I applied for an assistance to firefighters grant to replace all our large diameter hose in the amount of $40,000, and our copay, if you will, would be $2,000.
Are you at line 740.170?
Yes,
So it would be $8,595.
that's correct. All the other items in there that is voted by the commissioners are listed right there. If anybody has any particular questions on any particular line, I'd certainly be happy to answer them.
I have a question on 740.103.
Yes. That is a project that I put together that I'm working with the Tilton Police with to install a microwave link from the Pleasant Street Water Tower in Franklin to the Shed Road Tower in Northfield. That would add an additional radio receiver for the repeaters for the police and fire. But I actually applied for a grant for that today, Homeland Security grant. And so if I'm successful in getting the grant, it won't cost us anything, so.
So it looks like the commissioners aren't supporting the 25,104.
That's correct.
Can we give an explanation of commissioners?
Was
or
it-
just open for the grant?
No, was that one that was to improve service?
Yeah, so
Repeater.
our repeater system, what it was engineered to do was to cover the towns of Tilton and Northfield. Once the system was installed, the actual coverage, especially in Northfield, on the western side of Northfield, is very poor, and as you get down towards the river, doesn't work at all. By placing a radio receiver on the water tank tower on Pleasant Street, that kind of looks right down the river from a pretty high location, and the propagation study shows that that would fix the problem.
I think your chances of getting the grant are good.
I hope so, because I sit on the committee that reviews the applications for these grants.
Wouldn't that be a conflict?
Well, I cannot,
Can't
I can't vote on my own,
You can vote on theirs.
but I can vote on others, and maybe it'll work out, we'll see.
So it only looks fishy, it's really not. So, there's no motion for a number yet, right?
No. So why, I would like to know why the commissioners did you have some insight on that? Grant,
Just
or-
wait till next
It
year,
wasn't
Yeah,
necessary?
I think it had something to do with redundancy, and they felt, the commissioners felt that, there were, it wasn't, I forget, it was the handhelds.
Yes, it's the portable radio coverage.
And
We have the vehicular repeaters in some of the vehicles, where if one of those vehicles is nearby, it may help. If it's not nearby, it won't help. But you don't need those vehicle repeaters if this is in place.
So this is for handheld?
Yeah, so a portable radio, when you transmit, you talk out that little rubber antenna, it's about this long. That's a very inefficient antenna design for a wavelength that's about 9 feet tall. So it doesn't transmit very well when the receive antenna is hidden by trees and terrain and stuff like that.
So if they're in an area like that,
And
and
it's
they have
only
a
at 5
handheld,
watts,
and
whereas
they can't call out, what's their alternative right now?
Nothing.
Cell
Nothing.
phone?
Is
a
that-
cell phone might work.
Is that triangulation system that went through district meeting for $300-some thousand a few years ago?
It was never that much. It was, that system actually was, the triangular system didn't work out because the tower owners, once they saw that it was approved, they said, oh, now we're gonna charge you rent for putting your equipment on our towers. And I said, I'm not paying rent.
So what happened with that one?
So the money was transferred to a repeater site that's on Shed Road instead of that, where we had to build our own tower, so that's what happened. So we're not paying rent, whereas before they were gonna charge us, depending upon which tower we were on, each tower is gonna charge us $450 to between $450 and $650 a month to be on the tower, and I just, that's not sustainable.
So I'm gonna move total fire equipment at $47,443.
Second.
Total fire equipment at what?
$47,443.
So it's at $2,000
It's that 2,000 that he's adding to hose. 170.
I mean, do we have to vote
Yeah,
with that line?
Yeah,
or-
170.
No.
No.
Okay.
Any more discussion? On the motion on the table. All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Wow, did the whole page.
Quicker than the lawnmower.
Huh?
Quicker than the lawnmower.
13, EMF.
So this, there are specific items that we have in here for new equipment, which is an airway trainer so that our paramedics and advanced EMTs can practice on placing airways, intubating people with different, this model comes with different problems that they have to overcome, and so they can become more efficient in placing airways. The next item is for ventilators, which I am applying for a grant with Gopher, one from Tilton and one from Northfield, but I don't know how successful that'll be, and I don't know when they're gonna vote on those things. In fact, the application period goes until June, although I anticipate putting the application in sometime in January. I can't make governor and council take the item up until Department of Safety and the governor's Gopher office goes through all the applications. I have no control over when that timeline is. Hopefully it will be before district meeting, and if we are granted it before district meeting, we can reduce this $28,000 and to just our co-payment amount, but I won't know when that will happen. But otherwise, we need the ventilators because we are doing our RSI procedures. We do need the ventilators because now we have a lot of COVID patients that require assistance with breathing, and these machines also do CPAP and BiPAP that would replace a machine now that, a CPAP machine where we can't even get parts for it anymore, that is being phased out. So it's an important thing that we need to have one way or the other. So in this case, I would leave it in the budget, but I wouldn't buy them until after I found out the result of the grant application. If we get the grant, it'll be for only 10% of the cost. If we don't get the grant, I would, at that point in time, go ahead and purchase them.
Well, we're not raising or appropriating it. This is coming out of the ambulance funds, right?
That's correct. And if I don't spend it, it'll just
It
go
just
right
stays
back.
in the fund.
That's correct.
Any more questions? Anybody? I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to accept total EMS for $82,295.
A second.
I did hear a second, right? Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. There's nothing under vehicles, 760.
Not till the next
And
page.
the next page, it'll be
Throw it out.
Right, but it's not in our budget. Okay, 960 rescue equipment.
So what we have in the budget right now is to replace some 200-foot lengths of water rescue rope. It's a special rope for the water, the water doesn't damage it, where other types of ropes will. And the other line is to buy 4 more batteries for our extrication tools, our battery-operated extrication tools. They're coming on 3 years of age now, and where the batteries expected life is going to be in that time frame, so we're going to replace those.
Any discussion, questions? How are we set for water and ice rescue?
Pretty good. All our, most of the folks in our department are cold water and ice rescue certified. We're doing the training on that in January. And most of the folks on our fire department are swift water rescue technicians. We'll do multiple trainings of that during the spring to maintain our proficiencies in those rescue scenarios.
Then we have the equipment, the boats they use.
Yep.
Just curious. Anybody else, discussion, questions? Motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion to fund total rescue equipment $1365.
Second.
Do I hear a second? Any more discussion? All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And abstentions. Motion carries. Okay. Page 14.
So the only thing there is a new vehicle for the deputy. Using the state, one of the state bids from Massachusetts, it's the, some of the state, Plymouth County Commissioner state bid, which is the cheapest one right now. The commissioners asked me to look at, this is for an expedition, the commissioners asked me to look at an Explorer. And on the surface, the Explorer is cheaper, but then we wouldn't be able to use a lot of the equipment that is mounted in the Explorer, in the Expedition currently, in the Explorer. And then we'd have to buy new equipment, command console and things like that, that are non-transferable because of the size of the vehicle. That would make the Explorer more expensive.
But the commissioners haven't acted on that yet. They've not put a number to it.
No, and in fact, when I went out to rebid this, my original request in this line was $58,000 and change. I brought it down to $53,984 because of the latest bid. It's probably cheaper than that, but the bid is only good for 60 days. And by the time district meeting rolls around, I'm going to have to send it out to rebid, so I added a small percentage in case it went up, and so I'll still be able to purchase the vehicle. They asked for this information at their last commissioners meeting, and I did send an email out explaining everything. I think Commissioner Pyle was the only one to reply, just saying thanks for the information. And then I actually looked it up when we bought the last one. There's a quote from Kevin in here about the ability to use the command console that they bought to reuse it. And we can reuse it if we buy another
If you
expedition.
get the right, yeah, fit.
So the command console is 48 inches wide. And it has all the radios in it and all the gear in it, the air packs mounted to it. The radio chassis are all mounted on the back of it. If you buy an Explorer, it's only 43 inches wide. It won't fit. You'd have to buy all new command console and redo everything the configuration of it on the inside. The delta on it too, I wish I had the email in front of me. That's it.
How old is the vehicle we're replacing?
A 2009, has currently 151,000 miles on it. There are a number of issues with it. We've had to get the rocker panels replaced last year. The headlights are intermittent. The check engine light is on all the time. We're trying not to put any more money into it, because
The gas gauge doesn't work.
the gas gauge doesn't work. Because the things that are wrong with it, it's still running and everything like that, we just have to keep track of the things. It's safe, except when the lights go out at night time.
Well, why do we need two command vehicles?
Well, the deputy goes to, and he's in command sometimes, I go and I'm in command sometimes. We both take our vehicles home so that we're available, and we kind of take turns doing that. When that needs to take place, when you need a command vehicle, it's not something that you can run to the fire station and get the pickup truck and drive it someplace else. It's not time effective.
How much
It's what
time,
we have now, and it works very well.
how much time do you spend out of town when the command vehicle isn't available to us?
Time do I spend out of town? I don't know if I've ever added that up. You mean like at meetings and things like that? or-
Wherever you are, that is not where you can respond effectively with that vehicle. I mean, at one point there was information provided that it was 155 times or something that,
Oh, yeah, when I'm at meetings in Concord or at training or something like that.
wherever it is, I mean, that command vehicle is useless to us during that time.
Yeah.
And the other command vehicle is
Equally.
useless to us most every day when it's in Guilford.
I will say that when we have an incident that requires command presence more than an engine company officer, you get one of those vehicles on scene.
Oh, that's right, one.
And sometimes two. I mean, I know the last fire we had, we were both there.
Were they both used as command vehicles?
No, one was and one was not. But we come from different places. One of us isn't there.
No, I get it, I'm just, it seems like a lot of money when I believe that the most frequent use of your command vehicle is simply transportation.
I think that's probably the case in most command vehicles in the fire district. Every municipality around here that I'm aware of has two command vehicles, the chief and the deputies.
I know the answer to this question, but no other type of vehicle is looked at.
So like I did, I looked at an Explorer.
But, I mean, other than a fully equipped command vehicle.
No.
Are you trading in the old one? Is there any money from that sale? Or?
Yes, we are trading it in. I don't know what the value of that is. The book value is like, I did look it up. It's not a lot of money. It's less than $5,000.
This is coming out of Massachusetts,
Yes.
going forward.
MHQ out of Marlboro.
I think we got a cruiser coming.
It's a huge operation down there.
I'm sorry?
It's a huge operation down there.
Yeah, Colin Ford does the same thing.
Yeah.
In fact, their salesman went to MHQ. Hmm? I'm not sure.
Any other questions, discussion?
one question, not that it's affecting this year's budget, but just long-range planning a little bit. What's the next big capital for vehicles that you anticipate? I think we're doing pretty good
Yeah, we are.
otherwise, so it could be a couple of years, right?
It's gonna be 5 years when we'll be purchased, the next one is purchasing an ambulance, and another ambulance in 5 years.
And we need a new engine,
No, we have,
Jesus Christ, we just bought two.
is that two?
we bought two.
Good, good.
So one is delivered, it's actually going in service on Christmas Day.
Nice.
The next one will be delivered probably in August of next year,
Oh, good. So we both cut in somehow.
So engine two is gonna be put in service?
Christmas Day.
They fixed it?
That's the plan, yes.
I have to know, what'd they do? And who did it?
Put a new spring pack in it,
Who did it?
Larry Dingy.
Who built the spring pack?
The spring company in Barry, Vermont.
Oh,
They got, Hendrickson sent the specs out, and Hendrickson couldn't, all their materials was all lined up for orders already made. So they sent the specs to this spring shop in Barry, Vermont, and they made the springs and then delivered them to Larry Dingy, who then installed them.
Springs for what?
The front of the truck.
Brand new truck?
for the next one.
Oh, wow. What happened to the new truck?
The design engineer of the truck
Yeah,
is supposed to come with a 12 to 13 degree angle of attack.
yeah.
It showed up with a 9.1 degree angle of attack.
Oh,
And so what that means is that, like, you go onto a steep driveway or exiting a steep driveway,
Oh, yeah.
it hits.
Bottoms out.
Bottoms out.
so who pays for that?
Suffer.
Oh, okay.
How long have we had that truck?
October,
Well, it showed up in October,
but it had to get equipped and, right, it was.
but it was upfitted and all that stuff, and we've been meeting out, going through these issues until I officially accepted it today. Well, they wanted us to store it in the garage until parts came, and I said, no, I'm not keeping it here, we're not gonna be responsible for something that's not ours.
Yeah.
And that, I think that kind of pushed the issue too, of getting the parts sooner. than
Yeah, because if it's here, then it's like, can you live with it? You know, they kind of,
Yeah.
they cool off a little.
We'll just use it,
Yeah.
All right, we don't have a motion on the table yet.
To adjourn?
I'll move to accept new car 3 for $53,984.
I'll second that.
Do I hear a second? Yeah. Any more discussion?
That's gonna be a warrant article anyway, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
I know.
it doesn't
Yeah.
matter what we think, so.
All those in favor of the motion on the table, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Abstention? All right. I think we're done.
That's it.
Not sure why we vote on the last portion that we did, which was what the warrant article stuff.
Yeah.
You just save your time when you do warrant articles.
So, I guess we.
What to do with the warrant article?
Right. But we will. That's the big, look at it again. All right, we're gonna work. Our next meeting will be when the warrant articles are ready. It's all right with everybody, we'll just have Kathy schedule us. We're gonna stick with Wednesday night.
when do you think that might be?
At your next meeting, you are reviewing the warrant articles
Like, the 5th?
on the 4th.
Fourth.
So I'll plug in all the numbers now that the budget committee is done and send them out to you guys to have them in advance.
Did you say the 4th?
Yes.
That's when they're meeting,
That's when they're meeting. So,
That sound like a plan?
When's election day? Is that the 8th?
Second Tuesday in March for town.
Right,
What is fire district? Usually the Monday, right?
the month, the following Monday.
First Monday
school
after the
is
second
Saturday.
Tuesday.
Right.
So it's
So
Tuesday,
January
Saturday,
4th
Monday,
is
right?
Tuesday.
Yes.
Yeah,
Because Saturday is the deliberative session of town.
12th,
You don't have
yeah,
to.
that would be that.
So when is school?
No, I just,
School
School
Saturday after.
follows the fire
just
district.
trying to
That's
plan,
right.
trying to plan,
So it's town, fire district, and school.
I got work trips,
Yeah.
like one of them.
We're gonna meet after the commissioners, before the annual meeting kind of thing.
Yes.
We're gonna meet after the commissioners approve their warrant articles.
That
Will you
is-
send us a draft of them?
Of course,
Okay. So we'll have an idea of what's
yes.
being proposed.
So what night, are you saying Wednesday nights is still the best?
Well, that's what I was asking, are we sticking with Wednesday night? Is that
Well, just
comfortable?
not a building committee meeting.
All right, Kevin, I'll make sure it's not the 12th of January.
I'm fine with that as long as we stick with 5 because I have town budget at 7.
Okay.
How about 9 AM?
Pardon?
How about 9 AM?
Hey, I'm good with that. I'm good with that. Although I suppose how people work.
You saying I don't work?
No, she's saying you're self-employed, you make your own schedule.
Yes, I've known that for years.
You enjoy what you do, so it's not work, right?
All right. Any other business?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Hey. Feet. Just let you know the parking lot up there was getting icy.
That's it. How's your sugar?
Incredibly.
Signing, giving
Thank
me
you
the authority
very
to sign the
much.
contract, saying that.